Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the I Am CDB project. I, of course, am your host, CDB. You are not, and today we're going to use good old-fashioned maca root by The Body Shop. This is my third tub of maca root. For my money, it's as good as about anything out there, and I know a lot of people will disagree, but I don't care because it works really well for me, and that's what I'm interested in. We're going to use a cart today. Going to shave the head and the face, just the entire head and face shave with some chat and so on. So I hope you're up for that, and if you're not, thanks for coming by anyway. I do appreciate the view. I would ask everyone, if you enjoy the videos, to please hit the subscribe button and like the videos you like. That does help me out, as well as follow my social media listed in the comments below. We're going to continue to use our West Coast shaving brush, which I think is very, very good. Good budget brush, working very well. Synthetic, of course, which is my preference. So let's get going. We'll start on the dome, and we'll work our way down, I guess. We'll shave the head first and then maneuver down. I'm just going to do one pass on the dome, sort of with the grain, sort of pass, because it does, go in different directions and so on and so forth. Today, because I don't need necessarily to be, BBS, but anyway, using the Harry's, which is, one of my favorite cartridge type razors. And whenever I use cartridge type razors, I try to remind people that, if you're a member of the traditional shaving groups and anyone tells you flat out, do not use cartridge razors, they are mostly to be ignored. That is not to say that that everything they say is wrong, but on that issue, if anyone tells you point blank, never use a cart razor, I would avoid that individual, because they may not have your best interest at heart. I, at one point in time, believed strongly that it was not possible to get a great shave with a cartridge razor, because I had come from cartridge razors and electric razors when I first started wet shaving, and then once I had discovered, or traditional shaving, I should say, once I had discovered traditional shaving, I was thinking back to all the times I had terrible cartridge shaves. Well, what I wasn't considering was I didn't really know how to shave well. You didn't know to use a good brush, a soap, make sure you lather well. I didn't know necessarily. We knew we shouldn't be stretching the blades, but let's face it, we used to stretch our cart blades to get the most mileage out of them, because they're expensive. And this was before they had Dollar Shave Club and Harry's and these other, clubs where you can get decent prices on cart razors. And so what happened with me was, when I started shaving my head, I realized it was way easier to use a cart, and I get better results typically than I do with a safety razor. And so for me, it works just fine. And so for any person to, across the board, say you can only use a straight razor to get a good shave, or you can only use a DE, whatever the case, I just don't think that's advice that has everybody in mind. They're speaking only from their own opinion. So what I say is, use whatever works best. And if you're really comfortable with a cart and it works best for you, just use a good soap, use good technique, use 3 passes, so on and so forth. Definitely, I recommend you try safety razors if you can use them, but they're not for everyone. I think most people can master them and they can work very, very well. But on my head, I'll be honest, I've been doing this over 2 years now, 2.5+ years. And I try it generally once or twice a week with a cart, and I always have to follow it up, I try it at least once a week, let's say, with a DE, and I usually have to follow it up with a cart, because I just don't get the sort of results that I do with a face with let me rephrase again because I'm getting ahead of myself. With a DE on the dome, I don't get as good a result as a cart. On my face, I get an excellent result with a DE. With a cart, I can get an excellent result in either place. And so either way you want to go is fine. And if you hear someone just completely poo-pooing and advising you never to use it, even if it works best for you, then, that's probably not the best counsel to be heeding. That said, DE razors do have a ramp up time. Your skin has to get used to it, your face. So definitely don't abandon too early if you're having problems. I mean, you need to figure out how they work best and so on and so forth. But it is not a bad idea to keep a cart of some sort in your arsenal, even if you're just, say, you don't have as much time one morning and you figure you can get a quicker shave with a cart or what have you. I use it. Am not embarrassed about it whatsoever. And in the past, I would be one of the very people telling you, don't use a cart. That's not traditional, wagging my finger. And now, when you have another experience and receive more information or additional information, you need to be able to adjust your point of view based on new information. And so that's what I did. And so now I'm telling you, use whatever works best, be it cart, be it straight razor, DE, what have you, and do not allow anybody to tell you what works best for you. Make up your own decisions on that. And that's with respect to soap, razors, everything. So that's my advice on that. Use whatever you like. Don't be bullied or, peer pressured or whatever you want to call it into using only what is chic or cool in the traditional community. And I say that as someone who's a member of that community. Use whatever you like. Now, if you have concerns, about using them for purposes of performance or cost, I get it. But don't just poo-poo it because of the type of equipment that it is. That's my advice, and that is advice I'm giving with you in mind by saying, hey, just use whatever works best. Because look, I guarantee you, I'm going to get a very good shave from this Harry's razor today. And that's all there is to it. However, I would get an outstanding shave if I were using the Rockwell that I have sitting over there, or that Vikings blade razor, or the Rex that I used the other day, or the any of the ones I'm using. I'm going to get a solid shave. And I think most people who have a good deal of experience can manage. Certain people, it depends on the type of beard you have and all. Multi-blade cartridges like this may not be a good idea for certain types of skin and so on and so forth. Keep that in mind, but ultimately it's about doing what is best for you. And take this from someone who once upon a time, probably 3 or 4 years ago, if you would have brought a cart anywhere near me, I'd say, get behind me, Satan. I was full on board with you can only get a good shave from DE. Now, that's my preferred razor for the face. Let me just say that. But occasionally, like today, I just, I'm going to use a cart. Or sometimes when I travel, I'm away from home, I'll take a cart. It's just easier to manage. And so there's nothing wrong with that. And don't be bullied into thinking otherwise. Make your decision based on what your face tells you, not what everybody else tells you. And that's always the best advice, I think, is to listen to your face and do what it tells you to do. Those of us who are flapping our gums on YouTube every minute, you can take that stuff under advisement, but ultimately it's going to be whatever your face is telling you. And so if you're new and you're discouraged, don't be. Just continue plugging away, but don't be afraid to go to the cart if you're having difficulty or your face needs to rest or whatever the case may be. The main objective there is just heeding the signs and warnings that it gives you. And that's the most important thing, at least from my perspective. All right, getting on to this third pass here today. And I hope those of you who have stuck around are enjoying the video, and hopefully you'll go back and check some of the other videos and give them a watch. There's many videos, including the channel at ilather.com. There's lots of old stuff on that channel. So go check it out, and you'll see back when I was like, carts are garbage and so on and so forth. But I'm telling you now, I'm one of these people that if the information changes and I've seen the light, I will admit that, oh yeah, I was wrong on that. There's a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but some people in this community who will never, ever get off their, no matter what information comes in, they will not change. Razor X is the best all the time. Vendor Y is the best all the time. It wouldn't matter what happened. It wouldn't matter tomorrow if they got the greatest shave they ever got from some no-name vendor. They would still persist that the most expensive thing is the best at all time, and that's just the way they are. But I'm not one of those people, and I will adjust my point of view and what I tell you based on the information I have available or when there is a change. And so I encourage everyone else to the degree they are to do the same. Forget the part about being prideful and like, oh, if I told everybody this, now I can't change my mind. Yes, you can change your mind. Yes, you can. And you should, if you know something to be wrong that you've been espousing, you should come back and correct the record. Be it on social media or wherever. If you say, hey, I just learned this new thing, and I know many of you won't like it, but here it is, and be prepared to be criticized for it. But at least you'll feel good knowing that you're calling it like you see it, so on and so forth. So, there you have it. Great shave with the Harrys, both on the dome and the face. No problem whatsoever. Of course, we used our maca root, which I like a lot. For me, it's as good as about anything out there. I've used a ton of it, and I really like it. I just wish they have it in other scents. That would make it fantastic. But it's good the way it is. Also, West Coast Shaving Brush. Great people at West Coast Shaving. Check them out. I think I'm going to wrap it up and grab a shower. Until next time, thanks for watching. I've been your host, CDB. You are not. God bless.